My entitled mother-in-law moves into our house and begins to make my life and my boyfriend's life a living nightmare, refusing to clean up as well as refusing to pay her share of bills on time. And I'm so frustrated with this freeloading attitude that I seriously don't know what to do. So my boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years now. We moved in together last year in April, and I got pregnant in May. Everything was great within our relationship, and when I was about 6 months along being pregnant, my mother-in-law got kicked out of her daughter's house for unknown reasons. And that's when she asked us if her and her 3 youngest kids can come and live with us. The kids' ages are 14, 17, and 18 years old. Now, I love my mother-in-law and my boyfriend's siblings. Plus, I felt bad for them, so we both just agreed. But right after we agreed, everything started going downhill. My mother-in-law and the kids are so messy. They make a mess everywhere. In the living room, in the kitchen, in their own bathroom. The kitchen sink is always full of dirty dishes. The trash can is constantly overflowing. The living room is always full of wrappers and clutter. My mother-in-law cooks every so often and will leave all the pots and pans that she used on the stove. She constantly rearranges the living room. She brings her own decorations into the apartment and allows her youngest to bring her friends over whenever they please. She also doesn't pay her share of the bills on time, and sometimes she just doesn't even pay at all. I can't leave anything in the fridge because it will be gone by the time I come home. I have always been a clean person. I keep my room clean. I wash my dishes right after I'm done using them. I clean as I cook. Being clean is essential to living comfortably. I've asked them multiple times to please clean up after themselves, and so has my boyfriend, but they don't change even after promising to do better. It's to the point where I don't invite people over because I'm embarrassed of how messy they make my apartment. 3 months ago, my beautiful son was born, and ever since my son was born, the little privacy I had left was completely gone. They all randomly come into my room to pick him up. They want to look at him and take pictures of him. When he's crying, they knock on my door to make sure that I'm taking care of him. They constantly try to talk to me about his preferences as if they know my baby better than I do. I can't have conversations with my boyfriend anywhere that isn't in our own room because someone is always listening, and they will chime in or join the conversation. Alone time is non-existent. Ultimately, this has caused a huge strain on our relationship. We argue a lot, and it's mostly because of his family, and it doesn't help that they can hear all of our arguments. My boyfriend says that they have nowhere else to go, and as long as they need him, he will always take care of them, and he will be willing to take them in. I feel depressed, frustrated, and sometimes daydream of running away and living on my own with my son. I constantly feel like I have to wear a mask around my apartment. I'm always uncomfortable. I'm always locked in my room. Our lease is up in 4 months, and I've made it clear to my boyfriend that I don't want to live with in-laws ever again. He said he can't promise that because he doesn't want me to be disappointed in the future if they come in with us again. My in-laws are kind, and they help sometimes when we need it. However, I can't keep doing this anymore. I literally feel like I'm going crazy because I have no privacy and I'm constantly being watched. What should I do here? I've considered moving back in with my parents as I don't think I'd be able to afford living on my own with my son. I don't want to break up, but I feel like my mental health is being pushed to the side. Or should I just wait until the lease is up to see where we're gonna go from there? I know that relationships change a lot after a baby is born, and I don't want to give up my relationship so soon just because of the changes that we're going through. This is all so frustrating, and I seriously don't know what to do. What a rough circumstance to be stuck in. You just had a baby, your boyfriend's mom and his siblings are all kicked out of the house, and now you have to be stuck dealing with them every single day. And I think I would be exactly in your situation. I would be upset, I would be annoyed, and I'd be so furious that my privacy is being taken away from me. For me personally, privacy is a huge thing. I want to make sure that I'm safe and secure and that people can mind their own business. Like, that's a personal value of mine that I just don't feel like I should have to compromise on. And I feel like others should absolutely demand that aspect of their lives as well. So you are not crazy for feeling this way. Your boyfriend's family is overstepping their boundaries. They're first off not cleaning up after themselves, and your mother-in-law is being obnoxious. She's chiming in when she doesn't need to. She's not paying her bills on time or at all in some cases, which is, by the way, a huge red flag as to why she got kicked out from that other house. And they're all disturbing your baby and acting like they know what's best. Like, this is not a fair situation for you to be living in. Your boyfriend clearly can't see things right because obviously they're family and he's gonna try and take care of them no matter what. But if he seriously can't see that this is a major problem in your life and you're clearly in some kind of distress, us that he is straight up delusional. There's no way he can't see what's happening. I mean, he's even pointed out to them that they need to clean up more, that they need to do more around the house, and they need to just stay away and mind their own business. The number one priority, in my opinion, should be that baby. Your baby needs care and love, and it doesn't need people trying to take pictures of him and people trying to pick him up and tell you how to run this baby's life. So hopefully you can get through to your boyfriend and show him that, hey, our living situation kind of sucks. This is unacceptable for me and I need some changes. Because honestly, that's exactly what I would want to do, especially if I was surrounded by people who were super obnoxious and clearly did not care about my well-being. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. My husband is taking out his frustrations on me specifically in front of his entire family, even going as far as pretending to have a heart attack, claiming that I'm the reason that all of this happened, simply because of an argument that we had. And I'm so sick of this and I'm so disgusted, and I seriously don't know what to do. So to start things off, my husband and I and his entire family went out of town this weekend to go visit his grandpa in a different city for a religious holiday. The entire time that we have been here, my husband has been snapping at me in front of everyone, and this is all over the smallest things. I ask a question and he seems genuinely frustrated. With everyone else, he is talking so nicely, and it's incredibly humiliating to do this in front of his family. When I tried to tell him how I felt, he completely disregarded my feelings and said that that was not his intention and that he is trying his best. So of course I just shut down and I just stopped interacting with him altogether, which he visibly didn't like. He then started to get chest pains out of nowhere and started to blame me, saying I'm giving him a heart attack. So we took him to the emergency room and he actually told the nurse that our argument caused him to have heart issues. Now, I didn't yell or shout at him, so I'm not sure why he would say that. All I did was communicate how I had been feeling this entire weekend, which was feeling like absolute garbage. I think I am genuinely starting to hate my husband. He doesn't care whether I'm comfortable or not. He doesn't care what my needs are. He just wants me to suck up everything. Anyways, I'm putting everything in a box right now because every time I bring up what's bothering me, he starts to claim that his heart is hurting. As soon as I act normal with him, the heart pain is suddenly gone. It's a miracle. But I can't be normal with this man. He disgusts me. We are currently driving back home, and it's a 4-hour drive, and his mom is hitching a ride with us, and I can seriously see the difference. Making sure his mom is comfortable, asking her if she needs anything. If I say I need to go to the washroom, he huffs and puffs and gets all upset, and he doesn't think he is wrong at all when he does this. I don't want to divorce him, but I also cannot let this behavior slide anymore. What should I do? So let me make sure I got this correct. Your husband pretended to have a heart attack all because you gave up and said to yourself, I'm not going to interact with him any longer. Like, this man really went out there and was like, okay, this is the only way to solve this problem. Not by being nicer to my wife. No, we're not going to do that. I'm going to fake a heart attack and then complain to the nurse about my wife and blame her for my made-up issues. I mean, that is seriously insane. That's an entirely different level of manipulation, and that is seriously something you definitely should not overlook. The original poster even went on to say that everything turned out fine and they left the hospital without even seeing a doctor because he just suddenly started feeling better. Like, I cannot imagine dealing with that kind of craziness in my life. So if we are keeping count, this guy has humiliated you in front of his family and now in front of the general public at an emergency room. And that is absolutely not fair for you in the slightest. You deserve so much better than this. So hopefully you can have some kind of conversation with him, hopefully, or at least find some kind of solution where you can find the most happiness in your life. Because from the sounds of it, your husband just doesn't care about you, and it really seems like he's going to continue to treat you like garbage. My girlfriend has a friend that she had a fling with in the past, and I simply want this guy out of our lives, and I seriously don't know what to do. So for a bit of context, my previous relationship ended because my ex was sending underwear pictures to her supposed best friend. I should never have been in a relationship with her from the get-go, but it is what it is. When I ended the relationship, I swore to myself that I'd never put myself in that situation ever again. I would not enter into a relationship with a woman who kept really close male friends. I realized that not all women would behave the way that my ex did, and this agreement with myself was very generalized and pretty unrealistic. I mean, I have friends who are women, and I'm fairly secure as a person. So I canned that ideology and replaced it with no women who maintain friendships with guys that they've been intimate with previously is something that I'm going to pursue. And I personally don't think that's too out there as a rule. 4 months ago, I met someone. We'll call her Jane. That's not her real name. And we clicked immediately. The chemistry is there. The communication is there. We're similar in the right ways and and different in the right ways as well. We focus on giving to one another and looking after the relationship while still maintaining our individuality, our friends, and our interests. Now, Jane has a friend by the name of Billy. Billy is not his real name. Jane mentioned Billy at the start of the relationship. As the weeks passed by, it became evident that they were very close. I asked Jane if she and Billy had hooked up in the past, to which she replied that they kissed once when they were drunk. And on this basis, I chose to continue with the relationship. Another few weeks passed by, and Jane, Billy, and myself went out for drinks, and I honestly quite liked him. However, it was clear from his behavior that he was attracted to Jane. It was not surprising, as she was stunning, and she was a lot of fun to be around. It was also clear that they were a lot closer than I had anticipated. Jane was all over me the entire night, so there was no dodgy behavior from her on her end, but I can read Billy like an open book. That night when I got home, I asked her if there was more than she was letting on, and got the categorical no, while also receiving a speech about how honest she's been with both of us. She's aware of Billy's attraction, however, she stated that's his problem and not ours. Another couple of weeks passed by, and she mentioned while she was drunk that they had kissed more than once, and it seemed to be a frequent thing for a period of the year prior, which was before we met. I chose not to say anything and create a safe environment for her to open up about it. Fast forward 2 weeks later, and we went camping, and we were sitting by the fire with a few wines in us. Jane mentioned Billy, and I told her that her relationship with Billy seems more like ex-friends with benefits than just friends. She looked sad for a moment, and then told me that they had spent some quality time together once the year prior. She told me she lied because she didn't want to lose me. She told me how sorry she was and was absolutely showing it. She got quite upset and was scared that I would leave. Now, I'm a pretty understanding guy. However, if I had known about this from the start, I would not have entered into a relationship with her. It's just too messy, and I'm all about zero drama. Our feelings for each other had developed at this point to a deep love for one another. I chose to continue with the relationship and just forgive her. I feel like being with someone is a choice that you make on a daily basis, and quite honestly, I believe that what we have is stronger than a mistake made from a fear of loss of the other person. She hasn't seen Billy since in a personal setting. However, they do work in the same place. She's told me that she's been avoiding Billy and doesn't really want to talk to him. She also told me that now that she's pulled away, his behavior is making her feel annoyed at him. I have in no way tried to control her actions. I don't bring Billy up or behave in an insecure manner, but I have been giving this a lot of thought in the background. We had a discussion about the situation a couple of weeks ago. I was very honest. I stated that I have no wish to control her in her relationship with Billy, and that was hers to manage. However, I'm not going to lie to her and tell her everything is going to be okay, and that I won't make decisions based on her actions, and that I wouldn't be in the relationship if I knew this from the start, and if any of her personal relationships had the ability to affect our relationship, I would honestly say that it's this one that she had with Billy, and that this could be a potential problem moving forward. Last night, she spoke to me, telling me that she feels Billy deserves an explanation as to why she's pulled away. She told me that she was considering going for a pint with him to do this. I reacted calmly, but said to her, just so we're completely clear on what you're asking of me, you want to go have a drink with a guy who you had an intimate relationship with in the past? And when I asked this prompted an emotional reaction. She told me they were friends, and I was ignoring that element of their relationship. I reminded her that I told her this could be a problem for me, and I didn't budge. I told her if she feels like this is something that she has to do, she should do it. However, the person I entered into a relationship with had a friend she kissed once when they were drunk, and that I didn't sign up for a relationship where my girlfriend was maintaining a close relationship with an ex-romantic partner. On one hand, I feel like I'm an understanding person, and I want her to feel free to do what she feels is right. On the other hand, I know this has the potential to force me to leave the relationship. She told me if she has to choose, there's no question, and would choose me in a heartbeat. I don't want to have anything to do with her choice, and will continue to make decisions based on her actions. So it really begs the question, is this an appropriate way to handle the situation? Am I influencing her decisions without verbalizing it? I'm not jealous or insecure. I never bring Billy up in any conversation. I maintain a calm manner, and I'm an open floor when it comes to communication. This is a personal boundary for me though. I don't want her to feel like there's an ultimatum, because there honestly isn't. I would leave the relationship if she chose to maintain a close relationship with him, even though I haven't verbalized this. Whether that's right or wrong is honestly up for debate at this point. What should I do? First off, I want to say that the sketchiest part about this is the fact that your girlfriend wasn't honest with you from the beginning. You've already been burned once. You literally had this exact same situation happen, and you did not want to fall into that kind of trap ever again. So I don't blame you for not being trusting of Billy in the slightest. So in my opinion, I don't think you're in the wrong for telling her, look, I don't want you getting a drink with this guy again. I want him out of our conversation. Like legitimately, she needs to block him out of her life. And if he approaches her, she needs to say, I'm sorry, but I can't have a relationship with you. I can't have a friendship with you, as it really is affecting my relationship. I think the original poster has handled this really well, and I think the fact that she lied to you is a big red flag that you should not take lightly, because you want to invest your time with someone who's going to be honest. And unfortunately, since the beginning of your relationship with her, she has not been completely honest. My former best friend has treated me like garbage in the past and really done some awful things to me, and only now is he trying to make amends and possibly be friends again. But I'm seriously so torn and I really don't know what to do. So I'm a 22-year-old female and I used to be close friends with another guy. We started hanging out 3 years back when we were both 19 years old, and we were just really close for about a year. I trusted him a lot and I opened up to him on a lot of things. Most of my female friends would tell me that he probably had a crush on me. To be honest, there were some signs, but I was never really sure. When we would hang out, it would always be just the two of us alone, and he used to do things that could be considered flirting. He used to play with strands of my hair when standing face to face and tell me that my hair looks beautiful. He wanted to compare our hand sizes, which I thought was odd, but later found out can be considered a flirting technique. I remember one time we were watching a movie together and he had his hand around my shoulder for some time. He didn't proceed to make a move though, and he didn't kiss me or anything like that. Fast forward to 1 year later, and he started really being mean to me. All of a sudden, his behavior changed, and he would make really rude comments to me in front of our other friends in group projects for college. He would yell at me and talk to me in an ironic way. This went on for another year, and this made me feel really awful because I felt like I suddenly lost a close friend of mine without even knowing what happened. The whole time, I was trying to get him to talk to me and confront him about the situation, but he would refuse to meet me outside of college, and he would just make up excuses. I managed to talk to him about his change in behavior after many months, and he told me some things that were pretty horrible. He basically told me that he had a lot of family issues, and he was really upset these past few months. He said that he just felt like he could take out all his anger on me because he knew that I wouldn't react to it, and I was just an easy target because I'm more passive as a person. He also said that he felt really close to me, and that's why it was easier for him to take all his anger out on me than on his other friends. I was really heartbroken when I heard these words from him. However, he apologized, he recognized his mistakes, and told me that he knows his behavior was awful and that he will try to make everything better between us. That day before I brought up this issue, he also told me that he is a really manipulative person. He said he wants to manipulate his family members because they are really passive people and will just take any insult from him. He talked down on them and said something really creepy that made me question his sanity. He said that he is trying to find a way to make his sister believe that she has the upper hand in their relationship so she can live in the illusion of it, while in reality, he will be able to manipulate her. This started making me feel like he is a psycho or something like that and could be very dangerous. I made the mistake of continuing to hang out with him after that, all the way up until he did something that made me lose all respect for him. The two of us had gone to a concert together, and he met a guy there who had treated me awful in the past. He apparently knew this guy and started talking to him. I felt really uncomfortable having to face him, so I took my friends to the side and explained to him what had happened. He told me, okay, this is a friend of mine, and just so you know, I want to hang out with him. I'm gonna go back there and continue my conversation. He then just left me there and went on to make small talk and laugh with this guy who has been awful to me. I just remember being so angry with him that I ended up leaving the concert. Later on, we ended up having an argument over text messaging over what happened. I talked to him about this in person, and he was completely unfazed. He told me that I have no right to tell him who he can and cannot be friends with, and that he can't just start avoiding this guy because he will think that he's weird and socially awkward for doing that. He also said, if I were in your shoes and a friend of mine reacted the way that I did, I would feel awful, but I just can't feel the same way because it didn't happen to me, and to be honest, I don't really care about my friend's feelings more than my own. He also straight up said to me that I'm very egotistical and that I'm self-centered, while also claiming that I'm insensitive and I'm always putting myself above anyone else. And when he said that, that seriously made my jaw drop. After that, I stopped hanging out with him. He later told a common friend of ours that he feels what he did was wrong, but is now too embarrassed to talk to me about it and even face me in lectures. I lost contact with him and decided I don't want people like him in my life. However, the three of us are currently working on an assignment for college, and I see him more often, and our mutual friend knows about what happened. Now, he just seems like he wants to start hanging out with me all over again. He told me we should go out sometime, and I am thinking of giving him another chance just to see if he wants to apologize to me, but at this point, with all things considered, I seriously don't know what to do. In my opinion, there is no way possible I would ever become friends with that guy. I would get this group project done and then ghost him for life. This guy is seriously just trying to make good with you so he can try and manipulate you some more. That is literally his entire plan. Like, I'm convinced that this guy doesn't care about you in the slightest. He only is trying to make amends because someone else could potentially find out all the details of the way he's treated you. And you said it best, you do not deserve a friend like this because this guy is not a friend in the slightest. He even admitted that he likes manipulating people. He manipulates his family. He's trying to actively manipulate his sister. That is crazy behavior. That is not normal. I would personally be running, not walking away from this guy. And yeah, he was nice to you for like a year. But you know what? That's probably as long as he could keep that mask up and pretend like you're any kind of friend. So personally, I think you can find some much better friends than whatever this guy is trying with you. He does not care about you, and I think he's only going to try and hurt your feelings all over again. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out in the description below and subscribe.